Nihoma, that's the only new learning that I got from my profile just now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Aswar. I'm from MTech Media. And it's a pleasure for me to host this esteemed panelists today to moderate discussions on unlocking the power of consumer data for brands. In recent years, retail media has evolved from a niche channel into one of the most powerful digital marketing in ecosystems, bridging awareness, conversions, and also loyalty. But of course, as marketers, we also face new challenges, fragmented data. We're going to discuss a lot about that later. Privacy frameworks that are getting tighter and tighter. And also the need to connect offline and online touchpoints across all of the consumer journey. Today, we unpack how brands, retailers, and technology partners leveraging that intelligence not just to drive transactions, but also to build deeper and meaningful connection with consumers. Let's start. So, as an icebreaker questions, I'm going to ask our panelists, probably can start from Bu Mira later on, then I think I can start with you ya, Mbak ya.
Ya,
Oke,
boleh,
oke,
boleh.
boleh ya. Can each one of you share one recent moment where data or consumer insight surprised you on how Indonesian actually shop or behave in your category?
Saya dulu ya kalau gitu.
Boleh, silakan Bu Uci.
Okay. So can we do campur sari?
Kita campur sari aman ya? Aman ya? Oke, aman.
Okay. So basically, I think the first thing, the biggest, our biggest consumers, basically the big side of consumers is mothers. In PZ Cousin, our biggest brand is Cousin's Baby. And what we have discovered is that I think there's a new definition of loyalty with our consumers. Previously, we saw that consumers are very loyal to the brand. Right now, that's no longer the case. The case is that they're becoming more loyal to their needs. They're becoming more loyal to what the benefit of the products itself. So you could see that people are now moving from one brand to another depending on what kind of values or what kind of benefits that brands is looking for. I think that's the first one. I think that's going to be that's the biggest challenge that we're facing as a brand owner. The second one is that previously also we saw that we can actually define shopper based on social class, for instance. That's also no longer the case. Before we say that, okay, so we do have the price index of this much going into that selected segment, social class. Well, people, I think consumers are moving from one brand to another, one price segment to another, based on what they need. So you could say that one consumers will sacrifice their spending on something that they believe they need. They can spend extra premium products on the benefit of the products. For instance, if you are a mom, if your baby have sensitive skin, they spend money on buying products that for sensitive skin and sacrificing the spending for something else. So that kind of volatility of consumers is something that quite surprising for us to see.
So in short, people can buy iPhone and probably use different products.
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting, Mbak. Bu Mida?
Okay, coming from consumer health industry, I think Bu Eva mentions about the behavior is shifting. It's also correct. Something that we found out recently that is quite surprising related to the consumer health is when you have a problem, where you go? The doctors and the pharmacists. A shocking fact that we found out that actually people will think that the most trusted is doctor. But in reality, people visited pharmacies 10 times more than the doctor. So it's really shift how we define and how we focusing in our strategy in communications and how we are making in some of our communications also. Yeah, this is something that maybe I can talk a little bit also. So this is like the global insight that actually related to the allergy that 30% of the people worldwide, they are allergy sufferers. and 63% of it, they believe it's because of flu or is it because of cold, or they don't have any idea that actually this allergy. So most of the people here, let's say if we have 100 people, 30 of you might have allergy that you are not aware of. So we are experiencing symptoms but not sure what kind of medicines that I need to take, and then I will ask the doctor or pharmacist for advice. And what I mentioned that is quite shocking is actually people are visiting pharmacies 10 times more than visiting doctors.
Thank you, Bu. Manda?
Check. From retail media, we found that the surprise point data is from the offline shoppers data, that people is browse online like for the premium product, maybe high end, maybe pricey, but instead of the purchase on the offline stores, they buying like the efficient product, but they buy like, oh this is already meet my needs. Jadi yang mau aku jelaskan adalah kadang pembelian browsing di online itu tidak sama dengan purchase yang terjadi di toko offline. Kedua, online data dan offline data itu tidak sama dengan, dua hal yang berbeda. Nah, dengan retail media ini kita menggabungkan semuanya supaya kita punya konteks yang jelas melihat, oh pembelian ini terjadi di saat apa, karena apa, tempatnya, promonya atau apanya. Jadi retail media itu menggabungkan semua data online dan offline, yang artinya offline ada di retailer. Gitu.
Tadi kan di awal kita sempat bilang retail media kan juga tadinya niche dan starts to grow gitu ya. Menurut rekan-rekan panelis semua, what actually drives this acceleration? Mungkin nggak cuma di Indonesia aja, tapi across Indonesia. Mungkin dari Bu Mida?
Karena tadi ya mungkin kita semua juga udah ngejelasin bahwa shopper journey itu udah completely change gitu. Mbak Manda juga nyebutin bahwa orang itu browsing everywhere gitu. Jadi integration sama apa ya, maksudnya udah hampir nggak ada batasan antara online, offline yang dicari kemudian dengan apa yang dibeli gitu. Jadi it's a good thing why it's grow rapidly because digital is growing, everything is growing, shopper behavior is changing. But that's the biggest challenge also for us how we can unlock that one. So I think because of the digital AI and everything is growing rapidly, it's also make a big impact to retail media.
Mungkin saya tambahkan juga ya. Jadi I think also the introduction of e-wallet sehingga apa namanya transaksi dari mobile itu sangat gampang sekali. Itu juga mempengaruhi juga the fact that sebenarnya apa namanya banyak banget semua konsumen kita ya browsing dan shopping itu dikerjakan at the same time. Dan benar tadi Manda bilang browsingnya bisa di online tapi belinya bisa di offline juga. Jadi itu kayaknya sesuatu yang mungkin sangat berpengaruh sekali dengan perubahan-perubahan dan kebutuhan untuk retail media network itu jadi sebagai sangat penting sekali gitu.
Ini ada beberapa insights dari Mbak Uci ya ini ya.
Iya.
Mungkin boleh di-share sedikit, Mbak.
Jadi sebenarnya tadi sudah diberitakan bahwa sebenarnya consumer journey itu, shopping journey itu udah nggak linear sama sekali. Tadi kan kita sudah bicarakan banyak sekali ya, bahwa yang data yang kami dapatkan itu adalah hampir 90% dari moms ini di Indonesia itu mereka tidak mengikuti apa namanya journey yang kita pakem yang kita tahu lah sebenarnya. Jadi di sini itu challenge terbesar kita sebagai pemegang brand itu bagaimana caranya sih kita bisa mengcapture banyak informasi-informasi tersebut dari apa namanya feedback dari konsumen dan juga reacting bagaimana caranya mengikuti journey-nya mereka dan juga again ujung-ujungnya kan kita mau closing the loop ya. Jadi itu yang sebenarnya challenge yang terbesar yang kita hadapi sekarang gitu kan. Jadi itu yang sebenarnya the biggest challenge that we facing right now.
Manda, what do you think drive the accelerations of retail media?
Menambahkan dari Mbak Mida dan Mbak Susan, maaf Mbak Uci. Tiba-tiba keinget iya. Jadi
Itu bos saya ini.
Di retail media ini fungsinya adalah yang tadi data-data yang orang yang belanjanya di let's say TikTok, e-commerce, Shopee, Alfamart, Indomart, LMT, Raja Susu, Global Susu dan segala macam data poinnya itu kita kumpulkan menjadi di ekosistemnya retail media tadi. Jadi semuanya kekumpul di mana nanti bisa terbaca oh ada berapa banyak orang yang melihat iklannya, itu beneran beli. Jadi bukan sekedar kayak klik intent to purchase tapi emang produknya terjual gitu. Jadi 3 hal yang penting adalah satu first party data, kedua adalah pengukuran ROI dan ketiga adalah sales atribusi. Nah semuanya itu ketika sudah ada berada di satu ekosistem yang sama, semuanya itu bisa terprovide dengan baik. Begitu.
I think one of the most common challenges on retail media is the fragmentations of data. Yeah. Online platform punya datanya sendiri, offline platform juga punya datanya sendiri, onsite, offsite, dan juga in-store. Buat rekan-rekan semua, what is the ideal unified consumer view dengan semua fragmentasi data ini in your respective areas? Mungkin dari Bu Mida dulu, habis itu
Aku
boleh Mbak Ucu dulu juga nggak apa-apa. Kita bebas flow-nya.
Oke, kita bebas ya. Aduh, jadi rebutan jadi sekarang. Menurut saya itu sebenarnya kita jangan beranggap bahwa kita harus punya one view on consumers. Itu sesuatu yang kayaknya akan menjebak kita. Because we need to see the consumers will multifaceted face. Jadi sekarang itu konsumen itu bisa mempunyai misi pembelian atau shopping mission yang sangat-sangat berbeda-beda sekali. Untuk satu produk pun ada shopping mission yang berbeda-beda, kebutuhannya juga berbeda-beda. Itu segmentasi dari needs-nya kita gitu. Itu jadi kita harus pertama adalah merealize bahwa there is no one view of consumers. We need to realize that also to answer to their needs, we need to have multifaceted strategi in order to approach them juga. Itu sih menurut saya ya.
Nambahin ya, kalau dari Mbak Uci tadi memang quite impossible ya sekarang ya Mbak. Gitu, tapi itu emang benar banget. Tapi yang penting buat kita adalah how we understand the consumer. Because for them, they always have one single purpose. But the translations into different touch point, different media, different channel is also different. So the consumer view yang harus kita perhatiin adalah how we can understand them. And then tadi Mbak Manda juga nyebutin datanya itu tersebar. That's actually the challenge. The data is like distributed in the digital platform, in e-commerce, in us. So how we can integrate and how we can really build and consolidate all of the insight to answer what are the consumer and the shopper needs.
Manda?
Jadi ini tentang first party data dan retail media collaboration. Kalau first party data itu kalau dari sisi shoppers, dari consumer adalah ketika aku mau mengisi data, apa benefit manfaatnya buat aku? Apakah ketika aku memberikan info personal data ulang tahun aku akan mendapatkan voucher pada saat ulang tahun? Ataukah ketika aku lagi di toko, aku isi form untuk nama, email, nomor telepon, aku akan mendapatkan langsung voucher diskon untuk aku belanjakan di tempat. Jadi itu adalah hal yang penting untuk kita mendapatkan first party data, personalisasinya juga bisa kita dapatkan untuk kita kembalikan kepada consumer. Kedua adalah trust, bagaimana dari brand dan retailer itu bisa percaya untuk berbagi data insight konsumernya masing-masing. Nah di retail media ini WMT menyediakan ruang untuk keamanan tersebut. Jadi brand dan retailer bisa masukin datanya bisa tanpa melihat raw data masing-masing, pakai clean data room. Kita bisa melihat adalah insight-nya sama signal aktifnya. Oh di sini adalah konsumennya adalah seperti ini. Bagaimana mereka beli, kapan mereka beli, dan barang apa yang mereka beli. Jadi semuanya adalah dilihat tuh dalam ruangan yang aman gitu.
Tapi mungkin saya bisa ini kan, nah itu nge-link juga tuh dengan apa yang tadi saya bilangnya bahwa kita tidak secara konsumen itu kan mempunyai multifaceted banget ya.
Iya.
Jadi input-input atau signal-signal yang didapatkan dari retail network ini itu kita bisa mempunyai banyak tambahan mengenai kalau misalnya mereka behaviornya seperti ini gitu kan, berarti mereka kita juga menjawab dengan strategi yang berbeda, mungkin promonya yang berbeda untuk spesifik itu gitu, spesifik channel tersebut atau platform tersebut gitu sih sebenarnya.
Oke, jadi if any brands or agencies out there are promoting, we can provide you with singular view of consumer, jangan diambil ya. Gitu ya.
Ya, jangan
terbuai.
diambil face value aja,
Oke,
karena ada beberapa ada di other side juga ya gitu ya.
Oke. Kita deep dive ke masing-masing panelis boleh? Saya mulai dulu dari Bu Mida for Opella. Jadi Opella, as we know, is a regional brand and you're overseeing across not just Indonesia ya, Bu Mida, but also diverse markets. How do you balance the global media retail? Wow, time flies ya di sini. How do you balance the global media retail nuances with the local relevance in Indonesia, Bu?
So basically, talking about the global brand, so retail media network framework will always be the same. The framework is the same, how the guideline. However, in local context, we do like localizations, adjusting with the local needs, what we can do. Because let's say, kalau global brand kita punya insight yang sama, tapi lokal akan beda translationnya. Jadi kita lebih lihatnya ke arah sana sih, Mas.
In the morning session, we listened from Nielsen that most of the brands right now are obsessed with sales. And retail media, of course, the primary objective is sales. But how do you balance the long-term brand equity with the short-term equity, Bu?
So basically kalau kita bikin campaign mungkin bisa di show slide-nya
Yang
ini.
slide.
One slide before this.
Ini?
Yes. Okay. So basically this is how we do the translations and to answer Mas Haswork, how we balance short term and long term. So basically always when we are doing something related to the retail media network based on the global insight and the local needs, so we decided that, and then following the shopper and the consumer journey, right? So we decided there's always been a tree from the awareness until the conversion. So all of this activity it will be related to retail media network and how we can optimize the collaborations with retailer. Kalau misalnya another consumer goods, mungkin banyak kerjasama sama Indomaret, Alfamart. For us, because it's pharmaceutical and consumer health, we talk more to the pharmacy. So it will be like the second here, how we want to win the doctor and pharmacist recommendations. And at the end of the day, it's winning in stores. So in the short term, KPI, it always be in the sales. So if we go to the next slide, Mas Haswar, on the KPI, yes. So it will always be kebanyakan, yeah. So this is like on the what will be like the short-term KPI, what we want to achieve. This is definitely offtake. However, on longer term, what we want to drive is also like the brand lift and also pharmacist recommendation. So this is how to make sure and all of the strategy, and then how to measure the long-term KPI.
I can only imagine the headache that Bu Mida has because it's a very highly regulated industry juga. It's not
Exactly.
really mass. You don't
Yeah.
have much channel ya. Thank you for sharing that, Bu Mida. I'm gonna switch gear to Mbak Uci. PZ Cousins is operating in a really high frequency everyday consumption category. How is your team also leveraging the retail media from awareness to get to the basket?
Yeah. So I think we can go back to the slides that I have before. So basically, it started off with the fact that we realized that consumers will have a non-linear journey of shopping. We need to be able to partner with those who actually owns the first party data to give us signals on what consumers' behavior in terms of how they actually browse, how they aware, how they consider into conversions, and being able to actually adjust our strategy based on that signals, basically. And with that, we actually adjust our approach in terms of engaging with them. Depends on also the footprint of each of the retail platforms that we have. If that platform is actually the shopping habits is actually on volumes, then we push for being able to be the category leader. How do we actually make use of the data led to be domineering in terms of search? When we know that consumers or shoppers are actually browsing to actually consider, to look for informations, then we actually have also a different approach in terms of, accelerating and accelerating the informations. And also, converting that information into closing the loop into purchase. And of course, the last is that there's new channels that is arising. Affiliators, for instance, that is also arising. These are actually a different channel where we actually experiment. What is the right strategy in order to engage with our shopper and with our seller actually. Affiliators are our sellers, right? So within that, the fragmented strategy approach in engaging with the retailer and the shoppers, we were able to actually increase our sales in this past years.
Oke, moving on. Agak enak ya, ada bel-bel kayak gitu lagi.
Yeah.
Gini ya. Manda, so YMT is unique ya. YMT sits in the intersections of commerce and technology. And how do you help brands like PZ Cousins, Opella gitu ya, potentially to activate their data across all ecosystems. At the same time, this is something that we discuss a lot as well, while maintaining compliance and trust. Tarik nafasnya kayak ini banget nih. Berat ya?
Sebenarnya udah kita tadi Mbak Uci juga Mbak Mida juga ngomongin bahwa how to connect keseluruhan datanya. Jadi ada brand data, ada retail data, ada iklan data, dan bagaimana kita challenge adalah bagaimana juga kita menyatukan bahasa-bahasa itu semua juga. Masing-masing punya cara bahasa yang berbeda dari sisi labelingnya mungkin, dari sisi source data point-nya mungkin. Nah, dari sisi retail media itu kita mengolah semua data tersebut sehingga dari sisi eksekusi iklan, retargetingnya lebih efisien lagi. Dari sisi purchase-nya, pengukurannya lebih terukur lagi. Nah, jadi keseluruhan one single view-nya itu kelihatan semuanya dengan baik gitu. Jadi kelihatan oh Manda lihatnya di sini, lewat sini, belanjanya di sini, akhirnya purchase-nya apa gitu. Gitu sih.
How about this one, Manda? The programmatic and also advertising, the conversion of these two in shaping the future of marketing investment in retail media. I think you have a slide for this one ya?
Iya.
Boleh tunjukkan slide-nya?
Iya, betul. Ini untuk background apa yang aku ceritakan, aku ingin menceritakan bahwa programmatic dan retail media itu bukan sesuatu yang berbeda lagi, bukan jalan terpisah, tapi udah merging gitu. Jadi dari sisi programmatic bisa melakukan efisiensi targeting, dari sisi CPM dan lain-lainnya, tapi dari sisi retail media itu membelikan offline shoppers data itu yang dimana tadi richness tadi yang ada first party data dan touch point lainnya. Jadi pada saat digabung, merging tadi, fokusnya bukan hanya di impression based buying, tapi ke outcome based investment. Gitu. Jadi emang iklan dilihat, produk dibeli. That's it. Terima kasih.
104, this is the last question for all of our panelists. 114 days.
Oh, Ramadan.
Ramadan sebentar lagi.
Aduh,
Ya,
jangan
nggak berasa ya?
diingatkan dong.
Iya. As we approach Ramadan season, this is very early in 2026. This is a time where Indonesian shoppers, this is also a really peak moment here for many of the consumer brands to do activities. How can retail media help marketers to anticipate intent and create more connection with consumer during this very important period in consumer period of time? Mungkin dari Boci dulu.
From the brand perspective and from the brand that actually serve moms. Actually Ramadan is a moment both joy and stressful, particularly for moms with babies. Jadi sebenarnya itu I think that's the very fundamental insights that we need to address di sini. So therefore I think this is for a lot of moms this is the first time that they will be bringing their baby, their newborn baby probably to mudik misalnya. Nah itu sebenarnya sesuatu insight yang kita bisa highlight karena berarti persiapan untuk mudik itu berjalan dari cukup lama ya, mungkin even sebelum Ramadan mulai gitu. And that's something that I think we need to actually be able to engage mereka dari sebelumnya dan bagaimana caranya juga membantu mereka untuk mempersiapkan dan also informasi dan also bantuin mereka untuk closing the loop of the purchase nantinya. Itu yang that's gonna be gonna be the challenge.
Ramadan is the biggest festive. Everybody wants to jump in. Every brand wants to jump in and want to win the crowd, right? So I think the preparations of Ramadan, I think every brand will be able to find the relevancy and the key moments to Ramadan. But what is related to the retail media network is like the precisions what is the right data insights and how we gonna translate. Because we're not gonna be able, maybe not all of the brand gonna be able to compete with syrup brand, yeah, with massive everywhere. So we have to be really choiceful, use the data and be choiceful in where do you want to invest more to drive awareness until the conversion.
Aku menambahkan aja, semua udah kesebut, jadi setuju banget collect micro moment, big moments tentang Ramadan. Tapi bagaimana Ramadan itu bukan cuma membombardin iklan di momen Ramadan, tapi menggunakan pengolahan data yang tepat, yang tadi online dan offline shoppers data, sehingga memberikan solusi yang tepat, memberitahu produknya ada di mana, promonya ada di mana, jadi langsung ke solusi kepada konsumen. Seperti itu.
That's the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for our esteemed panelists, Mbak Uci, Bu Mida, and also Manda. What we're here today to determine is not just a new channel, it's a strategic bridge between content, commerce, and also consumer intent. It gives all of us tools to act in real time and also to responsibly to use that data ethically and also creatively. Thank you so much for having us. If you want to know more about retail media, please connect with our esteemed panelists in this floor. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, panelists. Let's have a round of applause and let's take a picture first before we return to our seats.